जलसा सालाना जलसा सालाना.
We continue here. My name is Adnan Burke. Great to have you with us here as we continue from Jalsa Salana USA here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I want to thank once again Manam Naeem Saab for talking about Humanity First and the importance of that organization. And once again, you can go to usa.humanityfirst.org for all the details there. We now turn our attention to one of the great programs here, of course involved with Ahmadiyya for many years, and that is being Waqf-e-Nau and Jamia and all the rest of that. So welcome to all of our guests here. We'll start by introducing yourself and what your title is.
Thank you very much for having us here. My name is Sayyid Fazl Ahmed, and I'm the Assistant National Secretary of Waqf-e-Nau. Allah Ta'ala had been very kind to give me this portfolio to serve Waqf-e-Nau. And since then, I'm doing it from about 18, 19 years.
It's great, mashallah. And yourself?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tariq Naseem Ahmed. I just, alhamdulillah, graduated from Jamia Ahmadiyya Canada.
Great.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zishan Ahmed, and I'll be entering Jamia.
Perfect. So it's great that we have like three different levels here. Somebody who's been involved with the program for a long time, somebody who just graduated Jamia, and somebody who's entering. So I guess first off, just start with the evolution of Jamia, how we got to this point. Because it's interesting when we explain it to non-Ahmadis, we explain, the easiest way I find is if you say seminary school, and they go, oh, can we understand that? Christians go through it as well. But how have you found the evolution of Jamia over the last few years?
As far as the United States is concerned, evolution we can call it, because it started from the North American Jamia, is in Canada. And to relate it, it's seminary as far as the religious teachings are concerned.
Right.
But in a nutshell, the Jamia had been since Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, when he felt that the old folks were leaving us, and he wanted a school which can teach them the nitty-gritties and the depth of Islam and Ahmadiyya. So that is how it evolved from there, where we are. There are many Jamias in different countries.
And that's the whole importance, is like you said, eventually the older generation is going to move on. We have to make sure it continues the entire way. What was your biggest experience from Jamia? First of all, how many years was it?
7 years.
7 years. And how old are you now?
25.
All right, so this is, for those who are unaware, this is essentially like going to college. This is
Yeah.
You finish high school, you go to Jamia for 7 years. And where was the school? Is it in Canada?
It's in Toronto, in Canada, yeah.
So, how did you find the experience? And I'll focus specifically on this. Your expectations going in, and now that you've graduated, what was the biggest surprise or biggest change that you underwent?
Surprise or change, it's mostly like you have your own perception, and realizing that everything in life it's much more practical, and that Islam is not just in the books. And just, I think the biggest thing I learned from it overall is just that it needs to be applied to your day-to-day life. Otherwise, it's not really going to hold relevance in your life. And it's more about finding that relevance. Then you can actually have that conviction and move forward with it, and not just live it Islam by name, but actually by practice. So I think that's the most important thing.
How did you find it in terms of, I'm assuming it's all people from different walks of life, different parts of North America, all going into one place. So what was that aspect? It must be in some ways kind of like coming to Jalsa or going to Eid. You have different people from different, and then you're learning from each other's experience.
Right, yeah. I think like the whole dorm life is huge as well, because first 2 years, it's because like the way Jamia is set up, obviously you've never like at that level learned these type of things outside in high school and stuff. Right. So first 2 years, I would say, is just like an adjustment period, a learning period, growing pains, learning how to deal and adjust with people from, like you said, different walks of life, and kind of coping with the waqf you've entered. So I think that's in the beginning, that was the biggest surprise, and like something really a huge learning experience.
And do you know where you're going to be situated now? Have you been told as far as your assignment?
As of right now, yeah. Basically, after you graduate, there's like you could say residency if you want, a year of in-field training. Right. So we're supposed to, inshallah, be going to the UK, and then to Africa, inshallah going to Ghana, and then from there to UK, then Pakistan. So there's a bunch of different areas we're going to be experiencing.
MashaAllah, it's definitely a big journey with these kids.
They are on residency now. I say internship, where they go to the Huzur, and then Huzur places them for these type of training at hand. And then according to Huzur, wherever they are will be based.
Right, just like other religions, you go upon Hazur's instructions wherever he feels like you
That
need
is
to go,
right.
that's how you go.
Right.
And what's your approach right now? Because you're
Yes.
obviously at a different experience than these other two.
Yes. So before I was born, my parents they dedicated me to a scheme of Waqf, and after 15 years, and I mean becoming a murabbi was always I always admired it, and for those 15 years, which I rededicated my life again to Waqf, and I really thought about, I used to go to these camps. They have these camps in New Jersey, and in Canada they have orientations for a week or in 3 days. So after going to those camps and orientations, I've looked into it, and it really motivated me to attend these camps. Attend Jamia.
Yeah, and I think that's important to notice your journey, because sometimes people hear, okay, you're born Waqf, your parents have certain expectations for you,
Yeah.
but you obviously have to deliver. Eventually, it is upon your own life. So
Yeah.
I think that's important that you did not resist what your parents were hoping for, and in fact, you've
Yeah.
embraced that now.
Yes. So so you have your parents dedicate you in the beginning, right, when you were born,
Right.
and then after 15 years you have that rededication. So if you want to continue in that scheme,
Right.
and before those 15 years, you go through like different life situations and stuff,
Right.
and with the Hazur's prayers and everything, and I think I can like continue as a murabbi. And
Oh, inshallah. Clearly, you have the right approach to it because you have that maturity about you. How has we talked about Jamia being different, but the entire thought process of parents designating their children as Waqf, where did that start, and why is that important?
Waqf itself has been started from Khalifa Rabi Rahimahullah Ta'ala. It's a well-planned process, really. He knew what he's doing, obviously, God guided. But it's a big process where we have evolved as Waqf now. It started in 1987. Now we are long way up here. And Huzur thought about the process. Everywhere in the world, it is guided by Huzur, how to have the hierarchy, the structure, what is to be taught. Everything is there. Now, Zishan is referring to rededication.
Yes.
And that's very important, and you asked that question. What has happened is that it was not his privilege to dedicate. He was maybe not born then. But then when he was born, he was groomed in that way because the parents have done that and committed to Allah Ta'ala via Huzur.
Right.
And now they try to do and whatever they can, walk the talk at home to be a religiously oriented home. And then at 15, he was given a choice by Huzur.
Yes.
That is rededication. And again, there will be a choice given for them. Once they are Waqf and go to Jamia, job done.
Right.
And then they persevere there. But on the other hand, those people who are not going to Jamia, there are other fields where Huzur specify.
Yes.
And they are in direct link. The advantage is that there, after graduation, you're pursuing the worldly careers,
Yeah.
which can help the Jamaat. They have to, again, rededicate.
And that's a great point. I think that people sometimes mistake that. They say, if you designate your child as Waqf, you say, well, what if he doesn't want to be a Murabbi? You say, well, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, you can do whatever position as long as it's benefiting the Jamaat. That's
That is true.
as well.
There are 19 specialities, and these two have come from Huzur.
Right.
And he wants, for example, he has to ask Huzur for every step. He has to ask Huzur for everything.
Right.
A graduate who has done medicine, he has to ask which field I should go in medicine itself.
Right. I feel like it's a critical time for all of us as Muslims, for Ahmadis, for Islam, because of what's going on in the world right now. What has Huzur said? I don't know if you've had a chance to speak specifically about this, but just the world at large, obviously issues of terrorism, what President Trump has said about Muslims. For somebody who's about to be preaching in UK, Africa, etc., what have you thought about how you're going to approach those subjects?
I think it really comes back to grounding ourselves in the roots that we follow and that we believe in. And Huzur Ayatollah continuously brings us back to the fact that even in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there's been similar situations, for example, the plague, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
like looming situations on the earth that were catastrophic. And what we really need to do is reapply ourselves to and connection with Allah Ta'ala. If we forget who we are, then you kind of get lost in the process. So realigning ourselves with our faith is the key.
As a young man, do you find you get more questions from non-Ahmadis, people saying, oh, what's
Yes.
this perhaps terrorist attack, or what is Islam all about, or explain to me Sharia law, or why do women do parda, that kind of stuff?
Yes, of course. Throughout, I mean, not in elementary school, of course, but like middle school and high school, as I was growing up,
Right.
all these attacks and stuff were happening, and they kept asking me questions like, "Oh, you're a Muslim. What is your point on it?"
Right.
And I just tell them, you know, we don't embrace this stuff. We're different,
Right.
and they would be like, "Okay." So
And what has Huzur's message been about what's going on in the world right now?
Huzur, from the khutbahs, we get total directives. A couple of khutbah back, he explicitly has mentioned the guidelines that we have to show and walk the talk.
Right.
We have to not just preach by words. You don't have to be knowledgeable. Today the speech was there.
Right.
You don't have to be knowledgeable and a graduate to do something. Wherever you are, you show the passion with prayers,
Right.
and then people will ask themselves. That is the Urdu's guidance.
It's one of the many benefits, once again, of Khilafat. You know, rather than having to search for signs from Alamya, you can just go to Huzur, listen to what the khutbahs are, and go from
True.
there. Jazakallah for all your
Jazakallah.
service.
Thank you, Adnan.
Good luck with everything. Inshallah, everything works out, and good luck to you as well. Aziz.
Jazakallah.
Thank you for having
Once
us.
again, all these guys doing a lot of work here for the Jamaat. We'll have plenty more coming up right after this.
Thank